Nothing.
Okay, did you ever, like, play one of those girl games where a guy asks you what's wrong and you say nothing when there really is something wrong? I know you've done it.
I just did it right there. Okay.
So think of it that way.
Uh-huh.
Hello, this is Dave Gilbert, and welcome to the commentary track for the Blackwell Legacy. This is the voice you're going to be hearing babble at you throughout the course of the game, and if you ever get tired of me talking, or if I'm talking too much, or you just get sick of the sound of my annoying voice, you can just hit any key on the keyboard, and I will dutifully disappear and shut up. To start with, I guess I just want to thank you for purchasing the game. That's really cool of you. You're keeping me in coffee and stuff while I write these games. Bit of history, I guess. This game originally started as a freeware game way back when, 2002, 2003. It was a game called Bestowers of Eternity, and it was quite a bit different. It starred Rosangela Blackwell, and it involved Joey to a lesser extent. And I never actually finished the game. It was never complete. But I released it anyway and slapped a really lame to be continued at the end and kind of ended on a really bad, nasty cliffhanger, which had everyone really, really annoyed at me. But people really seemed to like the game, and so earlier this year when I was thinking about making episodic games, I thought about Bestowers, and I thought it was well suited to an episodic format because you have two characters that you could relate to, you could follow throughout a series, and there was a nice backstory that could be revealed over time, and since they were investigators, each game could be another investigation. So I thought that worked out well. So that's a bit of history for you. That's how this game got started and conceived. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the game, or rather, I hope you did enjoy the game, because I do recommend playing the game first, because I will be giving stuff away. So if you want to avoid evil spoilers and you haven't played the game, I suggest you turn this commentary off. Otherwise, click that new game button and we'll begin. Hi, this is Dave Gilbert. You have activated the 5 years later commentary track for Blackwell Legacy. It has been, obviously, 5 years since I released the game, and since I have been upgrading and revamping the game a little bit, I thought it would be a good opportunity to hop on the mic again and voice any additional thoughts now that so much time has passed and other Blackwell games have been released since I made this game. A little bit of warning, if you have the original commentary active, you're going to be hearing my voice a lot, so just to warn you. Other than that, I will be interrupting you as you play, so let's continue on. I made a very small change to this opening scene. Originally, Rosa walked in from off-screen. She walked in from the right, stopped where she is now, and then she delivered her lines and tossed the ashes off. And I decided to change that and have it start with her already standing there looking out. It's a very minor change, but it's effective because now, originally, it was Rosa walks in, delivers her lines, and it just seemed very quick. She didn't take a moment to reflect. She just sort of walked in and did it. And this way, who knows how long she's been standing there looking out over the water. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a more softer edge. She's a little bit more reflective, and you sort of start in media res. You don't know why she's there. So it's just a very, very tiny change, and I've spent, all this time talking about it, but I think it was an effective one.
So, I guess this is it. Years of watching and waiting and hoping, and it comes down to this. Do I love you? Do I miss you? I don't know for sure, I hardly know you, but you're the closest thing to family I've got, and I suppose that's something. Goodbye, Auntie. Wherever you are.
This is, of course, the Brooklyn Bridge, which connects Brooklyn to downtown Manhattan. And what a view, man. What a view. What a great way to start the game off. You can't actually do what Rosa just did. There is a second level to the bridge below this one. So Rosa actually just poured her aunt's ashes onto oncoming traffic. But that's something I chose to ignore just because I love this view so much. And it was a nice way to open the game. The guy who drew this picture, his name is Chris Fimo. He's the second background artist who came on board kind of towards the the end. Tom Scarry kind of got this demanding full-time job and wasn't able to do the exteriors, and I actually had to run out to the Brooklyn Bridge and take this picture because there wasn't I tried looking online for a nice reference picture, but it didn't have what I wanted. There were a lot of pictures taken of the bridge, but not a lot of pictures taken of the view from the bridge. So I actually had to trudge out there and take the picture, and Chris drew it from that. The guy who did all the sprites in the game, his name is Ian Schleffer. He did Rose's walk cycle, and there's something really perfect about this walk cycle. She just walks, she's very kind of hesitant and aggressive at the exact same time. And I can't exactly pinpoint how it works, but it works. So, good work, Ian. I don't know how you did it, dude, but you did it.
What a morning. At least I'm home now. I've never seen this kid before in my life.
Hi there.
Hi?
So who are you visiting today?
Oh, ha ha.
Seriously, who are you here to see? I can't let you in unless you tell me.
I live here?
No, you don't. I know everybody in the building. I don't know you.
Matt Gardner, playing the doorman here, is a guy from Arizona, this amazing cartoonist. He does a lot of these flash cartoons on Newgrounds. You should check him out. His username there is Wogoat, W-O-G-O-A-T. And he does these fantastically hysterical X-Men parodies. So if you're into X-Men, you should check that out. He does the voices for his own cartoons mostly. So I know he had good equipment. I know he could do voice acting. So when he offered to do a voice, I said, "Hey, yeah, sure, come on, check it out." He also did most of the sketches for the close-up photographs in this game. Yeah, so that's Matt.
Who the hell are you?
Jim Burdo.
All right, Jim. Where's the regular doorman?
Geez, where have you been? He's on strike.
He's what?
Strike. All the building servicemen in the city are doing it. Union rules or something. I stepped in to help because I know everybody.
How come nobody told me?
Notices were posted all over the building. I put them up myself. If you lived here, you'd have seen them.
Who pays attention to things like that?
Well, that's not my problem.
Listen, I really live here. 4th floor, number 4E.
4E. Isn't that apartment empty?
No! I live there, and I want to go there. Thank you very much.
Oh, maybe you're telling the truth.
He sees reason, thank God.
Do you have any ID? A driver's license or something?
Yes, I have a driver's license. It's upstairs, in my desk drawer. Crap. Come on, this is New York. Who actually drives?
True, but I still can't let you in unless you prove you live here.
I have my apartment key. Will that do?
Sorry, no. That could be any key.
Well, let's go upstairs and see if it works.
And leave the door unattended? Can't do it. Sorry.
I'll be back.
See you around.
As I was upgrading this game, there was a real strong instinct and temptation to play George Lucas and change everything. And I resisted that. But this first puzzle and section would have been at the top of the list. I was worried that when I started this commentary, a lot of it would be me just going, what was I thinking, and apologizing a lot. And this is one of them. This was not the best way to kick off a series with this very arbitrary, very gamey puzzle. And at the time, my way of thinking was, well, Rose is she's this very socially recalcitrant person, and this is kind of a way of forcing her out into the world, which, yeah, as a character study, it works, but as a game, it's a very annoying puzzle. And it's the first thing you do in the game, you're told no. And one thing I've learned about game design and making games is that you want the first couple of actions to feel rewarding. And you want to feel good about the stuff you do. And here, there's just brick walls thrown at you no matter what you do, like within the first 2 seconds of playing. And that was bound to frustrate people. And I would have designed this completely differently if I could start over. But I didn't change it, because I think that would have been ridiculous to completely change everything. So I kept it as it was, and I'll apologize in this commentary.
Hello again.
Okay, I have no ID, and you don't know me. What can I do to prove that I live here?
Well, can anyone in the building vouch for you?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't really know anybody here.
How long have you lived here again?
Be quiet. Not all of us are social butterflies.
Okay, whatever. Hey, what about Nishanti Sharma? She could vouch for you.
Who is this Nish?
Nishanti. Nishanti Sharma. She lives in 4F. You know, right next door to 4E. You really don't get out much, do you?
Your point?
Nothing, but I'm sure she could vouch for you.
Great, call her up.
She's not here.
Of course she isn't. So I gotta wait here all day for her.
You might have to. Although, she usually goes to Washington Square Park in the morning. You could look for her there.
I'll be back.
See you around.
The map screen was hard to design because 3 of the locations were fairly close to each other, and one of the locations was far away. So it was hard to really come up with a good design for it. Originally, I just had this stupid little menu just for the beta testing stage. And then finally, E.L. Jammer, a graphic artist who came on board originally to do photographs. I'll talk about that later. But he offered to do extra stuff. And one of the first things I asked him to do, I said, hey, could you come up with a map screen? I'm totally stumped. And he came up with this design and these big icons that represent different areas, the locations you go to. And it works really well because the icons are big enough that the fact that one of the locations is farther away than the others, it didn't really matter so much. So I can't quite explain how it worked, but it does work, and I think it works well.
Washington Square. It's been a while since I've been here. Still looks the same, I guess. Although the dog park is empty. I wonder why.
This is a real place. Washington Square is a real park, and this dog park does exist, and it's usually a lot busier than it is than you see now. There are usually lots of little dogs running around, and I have lots of fun memories of this place. There was a dog, my friend's dog that I was looking after a few years ago, and I brought the dog to this dog park, and it was heck of a lot of fun just watching the dogs just run around. I made the mistake of bringing a breakfast sandwich with me one morning, and I was very popular with the dogs that day. Each Blackwell game has an area that is based in a real place, and this is obviously Washington Square Park, and this is the dog run in Washington Square Park. And it's funny how most of the locations that are based on real places, and I took care to get photograph references for the artists, they have all changed since their debut in their game. This area of Washington Square Park is completely different now. The entrance is on the street side of the park. This area is all fenced off. They renovated the park last year, and it's for the most part it looks the same, but the dog run is completely different. So you can no longer go to the park and see this image, which is a shame. But you can play Blackwell and virtually walk through Washington Square of years past.
Now I'm getting a stress headache. I need to get home.
There is a slight selfish aspect to writing a game or a story or a film that takes place in a real-world location, especially when it's your hometown or your home city. And that is, you get to include locations that you really love. And this place, Washington Square Park, man, it's just... I love this place. It's right by NYU. You get all the kids there. You get all the kids, meaning college kids. You get all the political rallies, the musicians, just all sorts of life just flows through this place, and it's just a great place to go and hang out. Sometimes when things get busy or hectic, I would sit down on a bench. I'd look at this exact view that you're looking at now, just munch on a sandwich, drink a cup of coffee or something, and just watch the world spin by. This is my home right here, and I'm very happy that Chris Fimo managed to get it right. I really wanted to stress the fact that I wanted this to be accurate. That arch in the background, that fountain, they're so iconic to Washington Square Park and New York in general. So I'm glad I got to include this location.
That's her. I recognize her from my building. Nishanti Sharma, was it? This is going to be awkward.
This, again, is one of those moments I wish I thought a little bit more carefully about when I made the game 5 years ago. As a character study, I think it works really well. But a lot of people hated this moment, and I can't blame them. Here, Rosa's trying to speak to Nishanti, but she's too shy to interrupt her in front of all of these people. And that's a very Rosa thing to do. It's totally understandable. But as a gamer, as a player, wanting to do something and being told no, being told not by the environment, being told no, not by other characters or by the environment or even by the game, but by the character that you're playing. Your avatar is saying, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to do it. And it just creates this immediate disconnect between the player and the character that I think was a very bad thing. If I was redoing this now, I'd have come up with something different. It worked as a character study, and a lot of people liked that for what it was. But I think as a game device, as an actual game, I did think it failed. Again, I was new. This is my first attempt at a commercial game, so hopefully I could be forgiven.
Excuse? I can't do it. I can't just barge up to her. Not in front of all those people. They're all staring.
So I want to give some advice to any of you budding adventure game designers out there who might conceive of using a dog and a dog leash in their game. I want you to heed my warning because and benefit from the value of my experience, because I want to tell you firsthand, this dog leash nearly killed me. And when I say it nearly killed me, I mean it nearly killed me. Because, holy crap, this dog leash would not do what it was supposed to do. It's a line that was drawn kind of on the fly using the engine from one point to another point. And I had to kind of using coding to tell the dog leash where to go. And holy crap, was this annoying. Either the dog leash would spontaneously disappear for a second or two, or it would draw itself above the dog's head, or it would be absolutely perfect, and then the dog would turn, and the dog leash would be in a totally different location. Once I got that right, getting the dog leash to work perfectly while the dog walked around that friggin' lamppost, that proved to be an incredibly daunting task. I mean, this dog leash... I hate this dog leash. I hate it so much. I want to take this dog leash, rip it up, set it on fire, take the ashes, put them in the dumpster, and then set fire to the dumpster, and then take those ashes and then step on them. Ugh, I hate you, dog leash. God damn it, I hate you. Wow, that felt really good. So dog leash, very hard.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Don't worry, Moti. I'm coming.
If you listened to the original commentary, you would have heard me rant about that dog leash and how hard it was to code. It plagues me even now, 5 years later, when I was upgrading this code. All of the commands that I used to create the dog leash 5 years ago are no longer used in the current version of the Adventure Game Studio engine. So all of that hard work that I did 5 years ago, all that ranting that you heard me do in the previous commentary, that was all for nothing because I had to redo it all again. So I had to figure out new commands, a whole new way of doing things because all those commands, those original commands, no longer work. So yeah, no more dog leashes.
There, all better. I can't take you anywhere, can I? Oh, it's you! The lady next door!
Yeah, hi.
Rhonda, isn't it?
No, Rosangela.
Well, Rosangela, I hope my friend here hasn't been giving you any trouble.
That's a cute dog you've got.
Isn't he just? Normally he behaves, but he seems to have taken a shine to you.
Oh, great.
Anyway, I don't think we've formally met. I'm Nishanti.
Rosangela.
So you said.
Oh, right.
Yes?
I have a strange favor to ask.
Go ahead and ask. What are neighbors for?
You know that building servicemen strike?
Yes. Jim Burdo is covering, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the problem, see. He doesn't recognize me.
Oh. So you need me to vouch for you?
Yeah, I know this is pretty stupid.
Don't worry about it. Moti is getting a little cranky anyway. Let's get you home.
Thanks.
Are you all right?
I'm fine, I just need to get home.
All right. Let's keep walking.
I mentioned earlier how Chris Fimo came on board kind of towards the end, and Tom Scarry had started to draw this picture, and I kind of implied that Chris, start with that and just finish it. But I gave him the reference picture, and then he said, could I just do it my way? Could I just do what I want? And I said, yeah, sure. I misunderstood. I thought he meant, could he do the picture his own way, kind of using the picture as a reference. He didn't realize that it was a real location. He thought I just showed him that picture just to show kind of what I had in mind. He didn't realize it was a real place. So when he ended up drawing the picture, thank God it was just an outline, he had a bridge in the background, he had, a river, he had this, it was just totally wrong. And I took one look at it, and it was just so detailed and so wonderful, and I just said, oh God, look, I'm sorry, this is great, but it's wrong, I'm sorry. And I told him it was a real place, and he didn't realize it was a real place, and it was this horrible misunderstanding, but he was a good sport about it. Thank God he just did an outline and didn't actually do the whole picture, because you see how beautiful this picture is, and it would have been a real shame if he had to do all that work for nothing.
Hello, Jim.
Hey, Miss Sharma.
Jim, this is Rosangela. She lives here.
She does? Okay. Sorry about earlier. Had to be sure.
Oh, it was no problem at all. Do you want anything else? Milk or orange juice, perhaps? Never mind. Just get out of my way.
Well, here we are.
Yes. Finally. That stupid kid.
Well, perhaps. But try not to be so hard on him. We're all neighbors after all.
Yeah, I guess.
Looks like somebody is hungry. I'd best get this spoiled puppy fed. Feel free to drop in any time you want.
Ruth Weber, the lady who is doing the voice of Nishanti here, you might recognize her from the Shiva, my previous game. She also played an Indian woman named Rajshri. And Ruth is not an Indian woman, in case you were wondering. It's just a coincidence. But in the Shiva, I had her do an accent. I had her do the Indian accent. And I learned my lesson. Not that Ruth was bad, far from it. It's just I felt that when I tell actors to do accents, they tend to focus a lot of their energy onto making sure the accent is right than into actually acting. And I decided here that Nishanti would not have an Indian accent. And I kind of wrote the character as someone who was very Americanized all of her life, and then later, when she got to be older, decided to reconnect with her Indian roots. So if she didn't have the accent, it was fine. And if there were some Indian culture things that I got wrong, it was okay, because Nishanti isn't an expert on Indian culture. She's just kind of reconnecting with it later in life. So she wears the sari, she plays the instrument, she's got some Indian decorations, but if it's not totally accurate, it's okay. So that was kind of an easy out, easy back door for myself.
I'll think about it.
No thinking needed. I know we New Yorkers don't usually talk to our neighbors, but who cares?
With this game, there's one thing I really wanted to get right above all things. It was to get the New York lifestyle, the New York attitude, the New York scene across well to you guys. I really wanted to show off the city, not just the architecture, it's beautiful, parts of it are beautiful, but also just the attitude. Rosa is a very New York-ish character, and what Nishanti says here is very, very true. Generally, we don't talk to our neighbors. I guess you can analyze it in many different ways, but if you're out there on the other side of the world, if you're Europe, Asia, India, Africa, wherever you might be playing this game, if you got a little taste of what New York was like through this game, then I was successful. I did what I really wanted to do.
The city can be a lonely place, especially when you live alone. I've got Moti. Who do you have?
Oh, I have 3 great roommates.
Oh?
Yes, their names are me, myself, and I. It's a joke.
Yeah, I get it. Very funny. I'm sure you're fine. Although your episode in the park tells me otherwise. And your eyes. Well, let's just say the offer stands.
Sure.
You go home now. We'll see each other soon, Rosangela, I'm sure.
Hey.
Yes?
You can call me Rosa, if you like. Rosangela's kind of a mouthful, you know.
That little cheesy grin is perfect. Perfect. I got that from Ian one day, and I just started placing it everywhere I could because it captures this perfect combination of like awkwardness and confusion and like trying to you can't quite explain it. It's this like I don't know how to react, so I'm just gonna smile awkwardly at you, and I like it. It really works out. Joey has something very similar, this really charming cheesy grin that I just kind of snuck in wherever I could. So and the beta testers actually before I implemented Rose's smile, they would always remark how Roses seemed very cold and very harsh. Then I would stick that little smile in there, and suddenly they changed their minds. So it's the magic of smiling, people. It's a lesson we all should adhere to.
All right, Rosa.
This wasn't my intention when I originally wrote this line 5 years ago, but it sort of started a character trait or a character trend, is that whenever she meets someone, it's always, "Hi, I'm Rosangela." If she likes you, she'll say, "Call me Rosa." And that is the case with all the future Blackwell games. With Claude, she felt comfortable with Claude, so she said, "Call me Rosa." She said, "Call me Rosa" to Jeremy in Blackwell Deception. So that has become a very Rosa thing to do. When she likes you or she's comfortable with you, she'll say, "Call me Rosa." Otherwise, it's Rosangela all the way.
You have a good day now.
What a strange lady.